Live from Lake City Community College Television and WCJX Radio, it's In the Zone, Columbia County's first live all-sports talk show. In the Zone is brought to you by Project Catch, Columbia Acting Together for Children. Join Shane Edge and Trey Hosford with your phone calls now at 754-4371. And now, live from the In the Zone studios at Lake City Community College, Shane Edge and Trey Hosford.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the final In the Zone show. I'm Shane Edge.
And I'm Trey Hosford. The show will come to a close tonight, but we want you to call in and talk sports with us. Tonight, we'll talk about Week 14 in the NFL season.
We'll talk about what's going on in college basketball and the 9-0 Florida Gators.
And when you call the show tonight, we'll put your name in a box and we'll draw for dinner for two to the Cracker Barrel restaurant here in Lake City. We'll give two of those away during the show. Give us a call at 754-4371 or email us your question or comment at the Project Catch website. And Shane, we were just talking about before the show. Tonight is the last In the Zone, unfortunately. But, over the last 2.5 years, there's been, numerous times myself or you've been out in the community and we've seen people that have said, hey, I watched the show. But they never call us. So tonight, we want those people that have never called into the show, plus the ones that call every week, the Mikes and the Bryans. Tell us what you think about the last 2.5 years of In the Zone. It's been a lot of fun, maybe some memories that they have. I know we got some funny ones.
Oh, yeah, we've had a lot of fun here doing the show. And, this is the last show. But hopefully, Trey, talk to a few people within the community, and maybe next fall we can get this thing going again, get a couple of sponsors. But we have had a great time. I want you guys to call in. If you don't want to talk to us or tell us what you thought about the show, let's talk about the NFL football season. But first, during this segment, I want to talk a little bit of Tiger basketball. Trey, you guys are doing a great job. Big game coming up this week.
Tomorrow night is a huge game, and the game is going to be at home. We're playing Eastside High out of Gainesville. We already played Eastside once this year, and we're able to beat them 52-44.
Right.
We were down 8 in that game, Shane, with about 6 minutes to go and found a way to win. But Eastside, going into the season, they came out last year. They were 21-5 last year. They returned everyone from that team. Eastside was picked to win our district, and right now they're sitting in second place behind us. We're 4-0 in the district. They're 3-1. So tomorrow night is a huge game at Columbia High School, JV at 6 and varsity at 7:30.
So we definitely got to get everybody out there to support our Tigers. Definitely the JV needs a lot of support. They're starting to come on and doing a lot better. And Trey, your guys, they're definitely picking up the pace, and they always, like we said before, they're working hard and they're playing as hard as they can. What's going to be the key tomorrow night against those guys?
Well, playing Eastside, Eastside's a lot bigger than we are. They're real physical. They're just as athletic as we are.
Right.
So I think one of the keys is going to be taking care of the basketball and rebounding. When we played them at their place, that was a big concern into that game was going to be our rebounding. But at the final statistics, we have 40 rebounds. They have 40.
Right.
So we tied in rebounding, but the area that concerned me is they had 21 offensive rebounds. They didn't shoot the ball really well that night, and they crashed the boards. They're going to do that. So I told our guys today in practice, if we give up 20 offensive rebounds tomorrow night, I don't expect to win. I don't expect to win giving up that many. That night we got lucky at the end of the game. We can't give up that many offensive rebounds. But if we can compete on the boards and take care of the basketball, I like our chances.
Well, rebounding to me is all heart. I mean, you got guys out there with heart, and they're going to rebound the basketball, box guys out, and get rebounds. To me, it's all heart, and I know you guys have a lot of heart. We'll continue on with basketball. I was really surprised, Trey, that there's only 2 SEC teams in the top 25 in basketball, and the University of Florida Gators are one of them at number 6 in the USA Today poll. And those guys are off to the best start, and I think since 1951-52, they're off to a 10-0 start.
They're playing excellent. I tell you, they got 5 guys averaging double figures, led by Corey Brewer at 14.9, Torian Green 13.8, Al Horford 12.8, Lee Humphrey 11.4, and Joakim Noah 10.2. And when you go down those numbers, the reason they got 5 guys average double figures is because they're so unselfish. They play as a team. They're shooting the ball well. Lee Humphrey from three-point land right now is shooting a little over 52%. They're just playing excellent. They've had some big wins, winning at Providence, going to Billy Donovan's college, his alma mater, and knocking off Providence was a big win. They honored him before the game. And then you talk about the 2 wins in the Coaches vs. Cancer Classic in New York. So these guys have played quality opponents.
Right.
It's not like they're just playing nobodies. And even when they played Florida State, who's not a powerhouse, they got down early, but they scrapped, they clawed, they found a way to win. I expect them to, I think they're playing JU this week.
Right.
I expect them to beat JU, and then they'll have a chance to set the Florida record for most wins to start a season against Miami. I believe that game's at Miami, and the Hurricanes knocked them off last year. So, I expect them to win their next couple games.
Well, they kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, it had a lot of young guys.
Weren't even ranked preseason.
Exactly, weren't even ranked. These guys are coming up and they're playing great team ball, and the chemistry is great. Let's talk about the #1 team in basketball right now, the Duke Blue Devils, and how they've stayed #1 because they ran into a couple of buzzsaws, and J.J. Redick really showed up Saturday and helped those guys win a big ball game.
J.J. dropped 41 on Texas, and we'll talk about that after the break. But we got to take a break right now. When we come back, we'll talk the sports you want to talk about. Give us a phone call at 754-4371. You're watching In the Zone on Lake City Community College Television and the X.
Camera operators, a director, an audio operator, graphics operators. All of these people are essential to the success of any television show, and the same is true for In the Zone each Monday night. Before the show goes on the air each week, Trey Hosford, one of the co-hosts, knows the people behind the scenes will be prepared.
It's been great the last 2.5 years working with all the guys and the girls that come in. They're kind of behind the scenes. Nobody gets to see their faces, but they're really the ones that put in all the hours to do a lot of the research, put together the clips. It's been a great time. It's kind of sad to see it end because we've had so much fun working together.
Shane Edge says every one of the crew on In the Zone had to cooperate to make it work.
You guys, week after week, you show your professionalism and you show that you guys have what it takes to make this show successful. If it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be here.
The staff and crew of In the Zone, this week's Character Spotlight.
Why do they call it a funny bone?
Why can't penguins fly? Like a sea safety.
Can we go to the moon on vacation?
If you think it's tough answering these questions, imagine the ones you'll get if your child is diagnosed with cancer. CureSearch.org can help. It's run by doctors and scientists whose research has led to an overall cure rate of 78%. You're not as alone as you feel.
Plastic ones last longer.
Pork bellies close steady due to speculation that demand for bacon-related products.
Read me this one, Daddy.
Okay, honey.
The less art kids get, the more it shows. Are yours getting enough? Art. Ask for more. AmericansForTheArts.org.
Welcome back to In the Zone. I'm Shane Edge.
And I'm Trey Hosford. Give us a call tonight. Your name will go in for a drawing for dinner for two to the Cracker Barrel restaurant here in Lake City. We'll have 2 winners tonight, so call us now for your chance to win. Just a reminder, if you're just tuning in, this is the last In the Zone show, so we invite everyone to call and give us your thoughts over what you've thought the last few years on In the Zone. And just going back to that character spotlight, Shane, all the guys and the girls that work behind the scenes on this show, headed up by Mike McKee and Gloria Spivey. It's been so much fun working with them. They're always, like you said, professionals on the job, but they do a great job.
There's no question about it. It's been a real joy to come in every Monday night and see all the smiling faces. And we may not be smiling all the time, but these guys get us ready to go for the show. And because I know Florida State's been getting beat a lot during these shows.
It's been rough. So. I've been coming in, with a frown on my face, but and I know, this last 6 weeks of the show, we've been giving Mike McKee a hard time, but Mike, we really appreciate all you've done for us.
We've got a little something special for Mike.
Talk about it later in the show.
We're going to definitely talk about that later on the show, but we got a big game. We don't want to leave. We don't want to leave Fort White off. Got Fort White coming in.
Fort White's coming in on Friday. We'll be playing them at 7:30. Now it's going to be a triple header. The girls varsity is going to play at 4:30. Boys JV at 6. Boys varsity at 7:30. So a triple header. Tigers versus Indians. I tell you, Fort White's playing well. They've had a couple big wins this year. One game they scored close to 90 points, so they're willing to get up and down the floor. They had a big win the other night against Branford at Branford. So Fort White's playing well, Shane. They got just about everybody back from last year's squad. That was a much improved team. Antoine Ruiz leads the way for them, and then they got Irvin Armstrong, a couple other kids, Owen McFadden. They got a Shepherd kid. I mean, they got several guys that are pretty good players that we're not looking past the East Side, of course, because that game's a district game. It's very important. but we're looking forward to playing Fort White because we know that's going to be a competitive game as well.
Right, and definitely have a lot of people at that ball game watching the two sides compete. Let's go ahead and talk a little NFL football, and I want you guys to give us a call at 754-4371. Tell us who you think is going to win or who's going to get into the playoffs and who's going to win the Super Bowl. I have my Super Bowl pick, and I actually think they're going to go undefeated throughout the whole season. Ooh. I think Indianapolis is going to win the ball game. I'll go ahead and throw that.
Well, I was going to go ahead and say I got Indianapolis winning the whole AFC and having home field advantage, which they clinched yesterday against the Jags. What did you think about that game? And, you know, everybody talked about the Jaguars. Last week we had a caller that wanted to know our thoughts on the game, and I think we both picked Indianapolis. Right. And Peyton Manning and the boys are just too good right now, and now they have a defense which – you know, has helped me get to the fantasy football playoffs, I might add. But Indianapolis is playing well when you got, you know, Peyton Manning, who's as good as there is in the league.
I don't think there's anybody better right now in the league. I mean, he calls his own plays. He looks at the defense, and you know, he puts himself in a great. It's kind of like having a Steve Spurrier on the field. He gets him in the right play, and he does such a good job. 24 of 36 for 324 yards against Jacksonville, who's known for their defense. And then, you know, Marvin Harrison, 6 catches, 130-something yards. Well, obviously the game was nowhere near as close as the score showed. I mean, Indianapolis had the game in hand well before the game was over. I mean, it was a done deal. And Jacksonville had a couple of they had an onside kick they recovered, and you had a chance to even tie the ball game. The end of the game, when the Colts actually threw the ball on a third down play, a lot of teams would have ran the ball, made Jacksonville use their last timeout, but there's so much confidence Tony Dungy has in that offense, and Peyton Manning, he knew that he probably wouldn't throw a pick. He would make a good decision. Made a tough throw backing up, and you know, Dallas Clark catching passes. Anybody can catch a pass. I mean, I think me and you could come out of the backfield to catch passes for them. Maybe not. I'm a little heavy. I don't know if I could do that or not. But let's talk about the Miami Dolphins real quick. They beat my San Diego Chargers, who I think is probably the second best team in the AFC. I mean, I think they're second behind Indianapolis. But you've got to give Miami credit to go into San Diego and beat a very good Charger team. Well, how about Gus Frerotte throwing for over 200 yards, and Chris Chambers? I mean, Chris Chambers having a huge game, 8 catches, 121 yards. So, and unfortunately, Nick Saban, that's 2 weeks in a row. Chris Chambers has been the best fantasy wide receiver over the past 2 weeks. I believe he scored probably, I don't know, close to 70 points. But, you know, the young man that has Chris Chambers on his team doesn't even start it. Oh, well, yeah, and it's stuff you don't know what he's going to do. But, you know, you're talking fantasy numbers, and you got Antonio Gates. That offense for San Diego, and I was going to agree with you, Shane. I thought that was the team that possibly could knock off Indianapolis, but well, they play this weekend. It's going to be a big game, and to see San Diego, they're coming back off the loss. LaDainian Tomlinson did not have the game that he normally has. So, I mean, are you saying that San Diego has a shot this week? You already said they're going to go undefeated. I think they're going to go undefeated, but San Diego, if anybody beats them throughout the whole year, it will be this game. This is the only game I think they have a chance to lose. I don't think anybody else in the AFC or the NFC in the Super Bowl can beat Indianapolis. I think if LaDainian Tomlinson and Marty Schottenheimer, it's all on him. If he gets that young man the ball 30 times a game, they will beat Indianapolis. All right. Well, a big game yesterday for me personally. Chicago Bears had won 8 straight, and they took a big loss yesterday. The Pittsburgh Steelers, 21-9. You know, the Bears. Do you think it's a fluke, or you think they got a shot to compete in the Bears have NFC? No chance unless they get Rex Grossman into the ball game, because Kyle Orton is just horrible. He's not good at all. Well, he won 8 straight. How much fun was it watching that ball game in the snow? It was so much fun. I love watching a game in the snow. There was a couple games like that when there was a lot of snow. But we have a caller on the line. I want to go right to that call. Charles, how are you doing tonight? Charles, how you doing?
Real good. How you doing? Doing good.
You got a question or a comment for us?
Yeah, I got 2 comments and a question.
Okay. All right.
The comment is first, Shane, you need a haircut.
Yeah, I know.
And the other comment is why are you guys do a real good job. I enjoy watching you. And the question is why are they taking you off the air?
Well, and Charles, we appreciate it. And this show was funded through a grant a couple years ago. And you know, grants, you have money, and then the money's just run out as far as we know. So unless there's a sponsor that steps up, you know, and we're going to try to plan something in the off season, I think, to try to possibly get it back on the air next year. But as of right now, it's not. So funding is the thing, and funding makes everything go. Right, and it was a grant through Project Catch, and it's a great, I mean, it's a great program. Gloria Spivey was the head of it, and you know, she thought of this whole setup and thought Trey and I would do a good job, and we've had a lot of fun doing it. Unfortunately,
you know, it's coming to an end, and hopefully next year we can get it going again. But as of right now, this is the last show.
This is it. All right, when we come back on In the Zone, we'll take your phone calls and we'll talk some sports you want to talk about. You're watching In the Zone on Lake City Community College Television and the X.
Hey, I was checking you out, and I was thinking, how about you come out to my car and we can have a couple beers, fool around a little bit. You know, I could give you herpes.
Okay, yeah, that sounds great.
MAD. Face the brutal truth about underage drinking.
Our children deserve a quality education that can't be achieved without qualified and dedicated teachers in our classrooms. We get excited about the success our students have and about cheering for the big cats.
We're all teachers.
In Northeast Florida, we need more of our college graduates and older adults pursuing careers in education. The Foundation for Rural Education Excellence is helping us spread the word.
Be a teacher.
To find out about being a teacher, contact your local school board office or visit our website.
Check it out, man.
What is that?
It looks like someone's belly. Eh, probably lost it walking on the beach.
Man, just leave it. Let's go.
Hi, I'm Tracy Hickman, the Executive Director of the new Academy of Teacher Preparation Programs at Lake City Community College.
And I'm Dr. Abraham Pallas, Executive Director of the Academy of Allied Health Programs. Are you an LPN ready for a highly rewarding, higher-paying career as a registered nurse? We are now taking applications for the fast-track Bridge to RN, which meets 2 nights a week with a weekend clinical.
The new Teacher Preparation Program is now accepting applications. If you have a bachelor's degree or higher, our 10-month program will train you for a career as a public school teacher. Call now for more information.
Welcome back to In the Zone. I'm Trey Hosmer. Give us a call with your comments at 754-4371. You got a chance to win dinner for 2 at the Cracker Barrel restaurant here in Lake City. We do have a caller on the line. Brian, let's go right to you, Brian. How you doing?
Good, guys. How are y'all?
Good. All right. Good to hear from you, Brian.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do on Monday nights. That's why I was just thinking, I hate to see a good thing come to an end. Hopefully we can get things worked out.
Well, Brian, I think while we got you on the phone, we can go ahead and get you to be the first pledge to go ahead and start sponsoring for next year. What do you think?
How much you need?
What else you got for us, Brian?
I was just, thinking you got NASCAR that comes to an end, college football that comes to an end. To me, what do I do on Sunday afternoons with NASCAR? What do I do on Saturday after college football? Now I got to figure out what I do on Monday nights.
I'm telling you what, everything's coming to an end for Brian, but that gives you more time to take care of those beautiful twins you got.
Well, I guess I'm just saying, you've done a good job. You can correlate y'all's show with things that you really enjoy, like NASCAR, like college football. This is things that the callers that you said, me, Mike, Chris Jones, certain people that do call, Steve, that really do look forward to it, and that's something that, hopefully people out in the community will be able to see, and hopefully you can keep it going.
Well, Brian, we appreciate the phone call. Brian, he has been one of those guys that ever since the show started, we actually had him on a couple of times because, Brian, he knows a lot about sports and in areas that I have no clue. I mean, you talk about NASCAR, I can promise you can probably pull back every tape that we've had on this show, and I've never given any information on NASCAR.
I tell you what,
you
Brian,
just turn left is all I know.
That's one thing about Brian. He definitely knows his NASCAR, and each year we have a NASCAR, fantasy NASCAR set up, and he's usually right up there at the top, right behind me. But actually this year he's won 2 segments, and I believe his Mitch Shute won the 3rd segment. So he, everybody does. We have a lot of fun with that NASCAR. But Trey, excuse me, we need to talk about Florida Gator recruiting. Tim Tebow, is Tim Tebow going to go to Florida or not?
Well, I tell you, and with what the breaking news these last few days with Portis saying he's transferring, and I tell you, when I first read that he was going to leave and he said he's going to stay through the bowl game, I thought to myself reading that article, I'm like, no way does he stay through that bowl game.
Right.
And I just, as a teammate, I wouldn't want him to. I mean, if he was talking about transferring, Why could he not wait a month? I think that's selfish to say, hey, you know, I'm leaving now and make that announcement. Why not wait through the bowl game? And then, you know, I think it was the next day that they actually came out and said he's going to go ahead and leave.
I'm not sure exactly what's going on with Mr. Portis, and I believe that something's kind of behind the scenes, and maybe it is, maybe there's not. But his mother came out and said it had nothing to do with the highly recruitment of Tim Tebow, but it has to have some bearing on it. If you're the second-string quarterback, you know Chris Leak has one more year left, so why would you leave now?
Right.
Even before Tebow makes his commitment of where he's going to go. But I think Tebow's going to go to Florida. I think that'll give him 1 year under his belt to redshirt, and Chris Leak's going to go out and have a great senior year next year.
And Tim Tebow, that's the quarterback from Nice that if you came out and watched the Tigers play Nice at home, you got to see what kind of young man he was.
Right.
Played an excellent game, just physical specimen out there on the field. And he took his Nice Panthers down to Miami this past weekend and knocked off Armwood, who was two-time defending state champs.
Right.
So Tim Tebow has him a state title in high school, and I'll have to agree with you, Shane. I think he's going to go to Florida, and like you said, 1 year. You know, and I doubt he'll redshirt because he's going to probably end up playing some as a backup because that usually happens.
Right.
But when Chris Leak leaves, Florida looks like they have the quarterback now that Urban Meyer wants.
Well, he's definitely a guy that Urban Meyer wants, but right now Florida's got a recruiting class that Urban Meyer wants. They're ranked number 2 in Rivals.com, and they've got a lot of commitments here lately, but really they only have one 5-star player. I believe it's Carl Johnson, his offensive lineman. He's 6'6", 348, and that young man's going to be very good. He's definitely going to help Florida's offensive line. Florida State right now is not too far behind, but they all, excuse me, they always do this.
Late push.
Late push. Last year they were a late push and became number 1 recruiting class in the country, but they are number 6 right now at Rivals.com, and they have a few commitments here to come in the next few weeks.
And I tell you, in Florida State was that team. They played a lot of young kids this year, so I expect them to you know, be much improved next year.
Get better.
Drew Weatherford a year under his belt, and then after the big win over Penn State in the bowl game, which is going to happen in a few weeks, I think that's definitely going to help their recruiting class. And I tell you, it's going to help. You know, it hurt when they lost to Florida. That definitely hurts. But then when they can turn around and win that ACC championship, you know, it's a lot easier to go tell a kid, hey, we're winning championships here. Yeah, we lost a rivalry game, but we're winning championships. We're building.
And we're getting rings. That's the biggest thing. All those
kids
kids, they love those rings. So, I mean, everybody wants a ring. And Florida State, if you go there, you got a great chance to get a ring.
All right, well, you know, Shane, jumping back into basketball, I wanted to talk about my last 2 games last week. Gainesville High, we were able to beat them 52-49 at home, and then it was an overtime win, so it was exciting. And then on Friday night, we did beat Ocala Forest, and that's what gave us our 4th win in the district.
Right.
But we got a caller on the line. I want to go right to that call. Mike, how are you doing?
What's going on, guys? How you doing tonight?
Doing good.
Good,
You got
Mike.
a question or comment for us, Mike?
Just want to call in and let you know, just like Brian was saying before, enjoy the show. Look forward to seeing you two turkeys on TV, or I mean 2 guys on TV every Monday night. I love the last comment that Trey just made after the Seminoles put it on Penn State, because we all know that's an inevitability.
Well,
And
Mike,
Shane's
I haven't had a
right
chance
now.
to respond to that, but I'll go ahead and let you finish what you're going to say, and I always want to get that last word.
I was just saying, when I heard Trey make that comment, I just knew I had to call in, because after that victory happens, we'll go ahead and write it down, that the recruits will be pouring into the Seminole Nation, just like they should be every year.
And, Mike, that was part of me making that call. I knew you were watching the show, and I knew when I said that, the phone was about to ring because I got Mike up and he was fired up. But, Mike, we really appreciate, you calling in each week. Hey, just last year you went with the In the Zone down to Tallahassee. Talk about that trip when we took you down on the sideline.
I was talking about just the other day, what a great time I got to go. Trey took me to the Wake Forest game, down on the sidelines, eye level with the team. To see a game from ground level is such a different experience. Went in the locker room, Bobby bowed and slapped me on the back. I almost passed out when he did that. Bobby walked by me and said, "Hey, son, how you doing?" Hit me. I almost laid on the ground. I know what to do.
See, they're in the zones making dreams come true for everybody. And Mike,
Dream
we really
Makers
appreciate
Network.
you calling. We've definitely had a great time, exchanging jabs. Mike's a great guy, and we appreciate all the calls.
All right, well, we got to take another break on In the Zone. We'll be back to wrap up the show. You're watching In the Zone on Lake City Community College Television and the X.
I can listen.
I can cook.
Good. I can coach.
Kids with something to do are less likely to do drugs.
I can drive.
I can paint.
I can dance.
A little of your time can make a lifetime of difference.
I can read.
I can help. You can help.
Call toll-free 1-877-KIDS-313 to find out about community drug prevention programs.
This message brought to you by Project Catch.
Lewis and Clark, great explorers. Hi, I'm Thomas Jefferson. Would you check out the West for me? Oh, sure. And they take their keelboat up the Missouri. Oh, Buffalo. Then they built Fort Mandan. They're at 1804. Made some friends along the way. I'm Sacagawea. Through the Columbia Gorge.
There are tons of ways to help with your kids' learning. Find the really good ones on connectforkids.org.
Sweet Pacific Ocean.
And now In the Zone presents the Southern Oaks Country Club Athlete of the Week.
All right, we're back. Thanks for tuning in the show. And for our Athlete of the Week, for our Southern Oaks Athlete of the Week, we have Mike McKee on the set. Mike, we want to appreciate you. We want to mention Carrie Hagler's name and Gloria Spivey. You guys make it all possible.
Carrie up in the booth, tech booth. Say something, Carrie.
Something. Hey guys, thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so we got 3 plaques, one from Miss Spivey, one from Carrie, one from Mike. And Mike, it's been fun, man. We've enjoyed it.
It really has been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed.
How much better have we gotten over the 2.5 years?
You've gotten tremendously better. It's like night and day. If you look at some
Coach
of the
Zook,
tapes.
you there?
Yeah.
Coach Zook.
you look at the first tape of the show and you know, reading the prompter and doing it. You guys have gotten real smooth. In fact, you don't even need prompter copy, and it's kind of a guide for you. But it's really been a lot of fun. We've gotten a chance to do a lot of things, and hopefully a lot of people have gotten a good message from the Project Catch program, which this has been for the past 2.5 years.
Mike, I wanted to ask you, I know Shane and I talk about it all the time, what's probably been your best memory? I know, we went to a Jaguar game together and a Seminole game, and the Bulls game.
Yeah, well, I think for you, interviewing Scottie Pippen in the locker room 2 years ago was pretty good. That was interesting, getting a chance to see Warren Sapp and telling us not to film him. That was kind of interesting.
That's how Warren
and going to meeting Danny Werfel and talking to him in the locker room, seeing Spurrier in his last year as a coach in the NFL, that was pretty interesting. We've been welcomed by a lot of, like the Orlando Magic. I still have contacts at the Orlando Magic, and we're welcome to go down there anytime we want. Same thing at Florida State. We got to work on Florida.
Hey, don't point at me when you say Florida State.
SNS golf tournament.
Yes.
We put together.
We had a great time at the SNS golf tournament.
Good shows there. With Harold Hoover.
Speaking of the SNS golf tournaments, talking about golf. A young man had a hole-in-one the other day, Trey.
I tell you, he gave his daughter away in marriage on Saturday night, Sunday afternoon, goes out to Quail Heights and gets a hole-in-one on Dunes number 5. Glenn Smithy, congratulations. I think it's like his 4th or 5th one. It's not even a big deal when he gets them anymore.
Wouldn't you like to have one?
Oh, if I get one, I might leave that day.
I think I'll quit the sport if I get a hole-in-one. I'm not very good right now at this particular time.
Part of my job for In the Zone is the box. We've got 3 names in here. You want to draw one? You want to draw one? Give away dinner for 2 at Cracker Barrel.
Look at that. I take care of my man, Mike. Here we go.
Charles.
Mike and
Charles and Mike, we appreciate the phone calls and calling in here on the last show.
And it's time to wrap it,
guys. Show them out. Every week, it's time to wrap. Mike gives us there you go, right there. That means time for me to read. We hope you enjoyed the program for the past 2.5 years, and we've enjoyed bringing it to you.
And for Trey Hosford and Mr. Mike McKee, I'm Shane Edge, and hopefully we'll see you next year. But if we don't, y'all have a great time watching Florida State lose.
Go Gators.